I want to say he also gave me a hug. So he showed me a form of love that I wasn't used to at church. Normally, when you go to church, people look at you judgmental. They look at your tattoos and stuff, and you can kind of tell what they thinking when they looking at you. And that's not like you expect that in the world, but when you at church, you know you don't expect to get judged. You want to get embraced. Well, he embraced me. So that love broke all that anger. It broke all that hurt. And I'm like, dang, maybe I need to reevaluate my life and think about the blessings. I'm free now. So this one particular night, me and my mom and my daughter and my nieces, we in Baton Rouge at we were going to eat out at Texas Roadhouse. Line was too long, so instead we went to Backyard Burger right next door, where I saw these kids that were surrounded, and I'm thinking negative. I have to be honest. Like when I first saw them, I'm being that same judgmental person who I talk about. I'm thinking like, it's like 10 o'clock at night. What are they doing? I'm looking at their ages. I'm like, what they doing out here that late? They up to no good. So I said that out loud. Well, my niece in the back, she said, Uncle Man, they helping. It's a homeless guy on the ground. They helping him. So I'm like, I pulled the truck around to the side, and I said, I'm just gonna park it to see if they really helping them or if they teasing them, if they taunting them. So I'm still thinking negative. Well, then I park and I'm looking at them. I see none of them pull out their phones or anything, but they start pulling like milk and cereal and stuff out of bags. So I'm like, they helping them. So I got emotional, and I'm telling my mom, I say, Mom, I feel less than a man if I drive back to Gonzales and not go acknowledge these young men for their good deeds, shake their hand, and tell them how I was judgmental, even though they didn't know that. So I did that. I got out the car, walked up to them. I introduced myself, told them I was sorry. I asked them what they spent. I said, what did y'all spend on this? They was like, oh, it was under $10. So I knew that I had just come from the ATM, and I had pulled at the time, my max that I could pull out was $500, and I had that in 20s. So I pulled it out and I divided it amongst the little boys. And they all was excited because they like, shoot, all we spent was $10 and we getting this. And I wanted them to understand. I was like, don't look at what y'all getting. I'm giving this to y'all because when y'all went to Walmart and y'all purchased these items, y'all didn't know that y'all was gonna meet me and get a bigger prize. So I want to teach y'all, when y'all do good in life, something is gonna come back. A reward is gonna come. Now you might not know when it's gonna come, but it's gonna come. And the homeless guy who was laying on the ground, he kind of stopped me. And he say, can you do me a favor? Now, I'm still kind of in my judgmental mind. I'm like, boy, he just saw me pull out all this money, divided amongst the kids. He about to ask me for something. But he's, to my shocking, he said, I want you to get these kids' numbers, and I want you to mentor them. And he looked at the kids, and he said, I want y'all to listen to him, because this is a man who's been through a lot in life. Now, I never met this man a day in my life. He gave me, man, I'm like, how do he know that? I really have been through a lot in life. How do he know that? And he said it with such authority, such confidence. Like y'all really need to listen to him. So my mom got out then and we just having a full-blown conversation. I wound up putting it on Facebook. It wound up going viral, like had over 27 thousand shares, people giving their input, and it was like, the experience was just life-changing. And my mom, she say, go back to them letters you used to write. Think about what God doing right now. You specifically asked him to mentor children. Now, you didn't ask about the homeless, but you asked about kids. He used kids to get your attention, because if he would have used the adult or somebody, I probably would have never paid attention. But it was the kids who got my attention to the homeless man. So from that point, I say, you know what? I want to go out. I want to help as many people as I can. I can't change the world, but I definitely can help. And I start going out. I start feeding. I say, I'm not going to stress on what I can't do. I want to buy 1,000 burgers. But right now, all I could afford, my first time going out, I bought, I think, 17. The next time I doubled it, 34. Then I just kept doubling it. I said, you know what? As God bless me, some people going to see it. I had people hitting me up like, hey, we'll send you something on PayPal. So I would take their money, put it with mine, and it just grew. And I was like, look at what God doing. And people didn't know I was actually homeless before in a sense, but by choice. Not, I could have always went back to my parents, but a lot of times I chose to go sleep on other people's couches and on the floor because I had this, I'm a man. It don't look right living with your parents as a man. I had that misconception, So I knew what it felt like to a certain degree. I say, man, I got to give them hope. wherever God see fit for me to go. It's more than just giving them food. It's just giving them that love that the pastor gave me. It all goes back to what he gave me that night. He gave me an embracing love that changed my whole outlook on everything. And that's what I want to do for people that I meet.